Hey guys, Illusionist Jason Bishop. I'm back with another random magic review. This is where I bring up some random video from YouTube or somewhere else online and I watch it and I give you my thoughts on it as a professional illusionist. I've been a professional illusionist for well over 10 years. I've had 2 successful runs in New York City. I've performed at the Magic Castle in Los Angeles, California, headlining there multiple times, and been on TV shows like The Today Show, CBS Sunday Mornings, as well as Breakfast TV Toronto. So today I have pulled up a video from the Carson show, from the Johnny Carson show back in the day. This is Steve Martin's Great Flydini Amazing Magic Tricks on Johnny Carson Tonight Show 1992. I actually remember seeing this when I was a kid. I was allowed to stay up late, I guess, and watch it because I was into magic. There are definitely magic tricks in this, but it's played more for comedy, but there's some pretty good magic in it, actually. I remember people saying like, oh, magic must be easy. Steve Martin does a really great magic act with this Flydini thing. But Steve Martin had actually been a magician first. A lot of people don't realize that. He was first a magician, then he became a comedian. He even incorporated magic in his comedy early in his career. I believe he was on the Ed Sullivan show doing some magic with his comedy and sort of a comedy magic act, actually. Later, it became more the type of comedy that he was known for later on, and then he went into screenwriting, and I think he even wrote a Broadway play that did pretty well. But the fact of the matter is, this act, it wasn't even made completely by Steve Martin, as I recall. It was actually largely influenced by a man named Peter Pitt. I think Peter Pitt actually booked the Magic Castle out in California for quite a long time. I believe he booked it. But Peter Pitt was a world-class, excellent magician, and I believe Steve Martin went to Peter Pitt and they came up with this act together, actually. So it has some pretty heavy influence from a very good magician in Peter Pitt. But Steve Martin is a fantastic performer, so he delivers this act, and I'm excited to watch it. There's some good magic and some very good comedy in this, so here we go. Johnny Carson with Steve Martin's Great Flydini act. Let's see.
Over the years, the Tonight Show has presented and introduced some of the greatest magicians in the world, but there is no one who quite compares to my first guest tonight. This is a particular interest of mine, and I'm very proud to present this gentleman's amazing illusions. Would you welcome the Great Flydini?
This is sort of classic Steve Martin. I mean, it takes logic, like all of these elements are normal magic elements. You make a silk appear, you make eggs appear. For some reason, magicians, we make eggs appear a lot. I don't know. I guess we always want to have breakfast. I don't know. So he makes the eggs appear and all of this stuff appear, but it's out of his flies. So there's this instant absurdity and it's just very Steve Martin. But I mean, you can see how talented the guy is. He's playing this just completely deadpan, completely straight, you know, and yet it's just ridiculous and funny. So it's very cool. I like that he's folded up his jacket a bit to have it be like a little curtain, like it's a stage right there, and it features his fly. So anyway, funny, interesting. lit cigarette. It's pretty neat seeing that you can take any type of a quasi-common trick and then you introduce a new element, and then it just becomes so refreshing, I don't know, sort of refreshing and different and interesting. Is that, well, what can we do with the fly now? What other properties, what other elements can we incorporate? All of a sudden it opens it up, literally opens it up, right? To just all these new possibilities and taking common tricks and incorporating with the fly. And so does underwear come out of there? What else comes out of there? Let's keep watching. A lot of eggs. I love that because he's created a pattern, egg, 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 and then absurdly there's just this other thing out of the blue. There's a phone that rings. Where's the phone coming from? Well, it's coming from his fly, so he reaches in, he takes it out. And that's more of a gag than magic maybe at that point, but it just breaks the pattern, and that's so important, is just creating a pattern and then just completely distinctly breaking that pattern for either dramatic effect or, in this case, for comedic effect. And it was great. And he, again, was so deadpan, and that's really tough. I mean, he did a great job. He doesn't crack. He's doing this for the audience, not for himself. So he's not laughing at himself while he does it. He's just delivering what he's created, and the audience laughs, and that's what he's intending for. For you. So good. I have to say, when I was a kid watching this took me a lot longer to figure out than maybe it should have. I don't know, but I did eventually figure out how it was done, but it took quite a while, and I'm not completely ashamed to admit that. It's the truth, but it's great. I mean, there's actually a lot of magic. You know, I hate to say it, Steve Martin as a comedian is doing more magic than a lot of magicians do in an act this length, frankly. So really, just, you know, it's Steve Martin though. I mean, the guy's literally like a genius. I mean, it's a great act though. Steve Martin's like a really smart guy. I think he went to college for philosophy. I listened to his biography, which is really awesome. It's called Born Standing Up. I want to say Born Standing Up. But check that out with Steve Martin. It's so freaking good. It's one of the best autobiographies that I have ever heard. And it really is just about from his youth until he was on the road as a comic and coming up as a comedian, magician, writer, etc. He was a writer on the Smothers Brothers show. But it just follows him coming up through entertainment. And then it kind of stops about when he really blows up, I believe, as a comedian. And I think I always look for those types of stories. I've always liked that type of story as an entertainer. It's just, how did you do it? How did you, because people think every entertainer, their dad was a magician and their mom was a comedian or a screenwriter or whatever. I think like most entertainers really, maybe their parents or something were funny or were interested in drama or acting or whatever, but they weren't really in the business as much. And you have to make your own way in it. Most of us do. And Steve Martin did as well. He just was, in an upper middle class family in Waco, Texas, actually. And then they moved, I think, to LA or something. And he worked at Disneyland at one of the magic shops there and stuff and learned some things. Check out Born Standing Up, though. I think I listened to it on Book on Tape and he narrates it himself. And most entertainers that I know have listened to that rank it as one of their favorite books because you just feel not like it's your story, but there's so much that you can relate to in his story. Obviously, we would all like for the insane success that Steve Martin had in his career, but some of the journey you certainly can look at and go, wow, I totally understand that, or recognize what he was going through and the self-doubt and the persistence and the development of your act and working at terrible places like he did as well. So yeah, check that out for sure. But that trick at the end there, he was using the Pavarotti sort of doll, and that's so classic Steve Martin to take these sort of highbrow intellectual concepts and then marry them with this sort of absurdity and get comedy out of it like that. It was just brilliant and great, and he's going to finish it up here. Let's see what he does. Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have seen some amazing effects, ladies and gentlemen, over the years, but you have to admit, Flydini has shown us more than we ever wanted to see in magic. Please, let's bring him back for a little bow. The great Flydini, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back in a moment. Stay where you are.
That's so crazy to see two of the greatest comedians ever, Johnny Carson and Steve Martin, both started as magicians and both love magic to this day. I know that at certain magic shows in New York or at the Castle in LA, sometimes Steve Martin will just slip in and people will kind of, murmur and have rumors about Steve Martin's here. He still just absolutely loves magic, and it's so neat to see Carson and Steve Martin together like that, who are just such brilliant performers in comedy, but also great lovers and performers of magic. So that was really cool to see. And man, I was just starting out in magic. I was in maybe like a year into magic, and I was just maybe in my early teens or something, and that came on TV, and it was just like, it just brings back some memories on that. But it was great to see, and it was motivating then just to see how creative somebody could be with it, and what a creative, interesting act. So thank you guys for watching this. If you like this, please destroy that thumbs up button. Please subscribe if you want to see new videos, and hit the bell to get notified when I post new videos. So thanks a lot, guys. We will see you in the next one.